Charlie Bingley had a son named Jim. And it was Captain Bingley that started this excursion with his wife back in 1950. Jim really liked to build things too, like this dry dock we all walked across, which is made out of leftover Trans-Alaska pipeline. And just in case that happened a little faster, anybody, don't worry, because we'll see it again. Like tall trees, you can place those cords through and reaching down to the river surface quickly. And then level it out and feel its way back down to the water. And angle on the approach. So use the horizon. Try to push the landing there a little bit. This is a good answer. You can walk away from it if you can. So no deductions. And there's our friend Steve Canadzi right alongside us.
A look at things, a 1951 model aircraft that's obviously in very good shape. Has it always been that well put together? So I acquired this aircraft well over 20 years ago with a bunch of weeds growing up around it. I took it all apart, totally restored it, put it back in here, and have accumulated well over 2,000 hours in it. So it's
even though the boats have gotten bigger and more people come to see us, the heart and content of this trip haven't really changed all that much. This is our 66th season, and we are still going to learn about the remarkable native cultures of the interior. You get a first-hand experience with that. The river, and we're going to see it in just a little while. That's the real deal. It was built in the 1980s, but using much older techniques. This guy's brother, though, who lives right next door, didn't want a log home, so he went with something completely different. They use the boat like a big grandstand, so you can see the dogs and the people who take care of them.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Trailbreaker Kennel.
Nice to see you, and I'm sorry the weather is so crummy. You must not be having any fun.
I mean, these little puppies are really a drag, but we're trying to hold it together.
Yeah, I guess so. We see them vaulting over the logs here in the pen, and that's not something, though, that they were able to do when you first started to bring them out, right?
It definitely isn't. Once they start to get their legs under them, we do like to bring them out into this enclosure and encourage them to jump over these logs. Now, at first, they're not able to do it, so we help them. And now that they're able to do it on their own, we praise them on the other side. And this teaches them that we're never going to ask them to go any farther or faster than they're capable of, and we're always going to be there for them if things get tough. When you've been training dogs for as long as we have, you're going to know when they hit that level of maturity and they're ready to go into harness for the first time. And that normally happens at about 6 months old. So on that day, we're going to hook up, again, a couple of older, well-run lead dogs out in front of our team, and then 4 to 6 puppies behind.
Could you tell us what the different positions are on the team here and the specialties of each of the dogs, depending on where they are?
Absolutely. So you can see in that very front, we're hooking up our lead dogs. Now, lead dogs are some of the most important dogs in our team because they are our steering wheels. Now, you've probably heard of lead dogs before. They're the most famous in a dog kennel. Balto was a lead dog, Togo was a lead dog, and they are taught specialized voice commands for steering. We can kind of tell which puppies are going to be good lead dogs right when they're in this little enclosure jumping over the logs, because they're going to be the bravest, the most adventuresome, the most courageous. They're going to be those dogs that follow our older retired dogs out into the woods and have those adventures and come back wagging their tails, because they're also leading the team in their enthusiasm. Then in the middle of the team, we have team dogs. In a race like the Iditarod or the Yukon Quest, you have 16 dogs in your team. So you can imagine how long these lines get and how powerful and excited our teams really are. Then closest to the sled, in the back, we hook up the wheel dogs. Now sometimes in this position you see a burlier or brawnier dog because they're closer to the sled and therefore can feel more of the weight. Now, that's very important when we're on some sort of slopey terrain, say on a cliff, and we don't want our sled to be running into any of the trees or rocks on the side of the trail. Those dogs are going to keep us going down the straight and narrow because they're closer to the sled. But in the summertime, we don't have any snow or ice, so we have to improvise and use this four-wheeler to train year-round. We take out engine and enhance the brakes so these dogs can do what they love all year round and continue our training process.
All right. It's a shame the dogs aren't excited about this, isn't it? Look at that, though. Boy, when they hitch up everybody, they just lean right into it, and Tekla is gone. Everybody's feeling out the pace, matching with the dog beside him. The rest of the dogs still here are freaking out. Pick me, I want to go.
So at the end of a long race or training run, they can really push pedal to the metal and get us home safely. We want to be able to pass those competitors in front of us and keep those other competitors behind us. These guys know this trail, and so they know they're on the homeward stretch and they're headed back into the yard.
So keep your eye on that gate, and we'll see how well they decide to whoa for her today. They tend to behave well for Tekla, but yeah, they get it. All right, well-trained team, good run, Tekla.
Well, thank you so much. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we knew they'd be there. But here's the point. This is why this scene is relevant, because this, in the wild, thousands of years ago, would have meant survival. What you see in the pen out here is the domesticated version of Rangifer tarandus. Same genus and species as the wild caribou.
Dointa, my name is Janessa. I'm an Athabascan Indian and Inupiat Eskimo from the village of Rampart. Rampart is about 90 air miles north of here along the Yukon River, and I've been going to fish camp every summer since I was a baby. Most Athabascan families, though, would use a fish wheel, like the one we have in the water. It's an efficient fish-catching machine that allows us to harvest enough salmon to sustain our families and our dog teams in the winter months. To the far left are canvas wall tents, and this is what some families would sleep in here at camp. I've already removed the head from the salmon and separated the backbone from the two fillets, leaving it attached at the tail. There's still quite a bit of meat left on the backbone, so we'll use that to make a stew for the dogs here at camp. And if this were the head of a higher quality salmon like the king or the silver, we could use this to make fish head soup, which is the delicacy that we serve to our elders.
With an animal, nothing was wasted. The tan hides were especially valuable for clothing, shelter, and lashing. Once the men killed an animal, the woman began the tanning process.